Hey everybody, I'm Dale Hardt Jr. and this is the Dirty 30. The best highlights from all of our podcasts this week. 30 minutes every single Friday. The Dirty 30 coming at you. Let's get right to it. This episode of the Dirty 30 is presented by Arby's new Meat in 3 box. Get more meal for your money at Arby's. We have the meats. You got the whole field sitting there running 60, 40, 50% probably. Even the guy leading the race is running 60%, right? If there's a person that's running, in the middle of the pack and they're like, man, I'm gonna run wide open. If they go and pull out of line and mash the gas to 100%, they cannot drive away from the field. The car has so much drag on it and such a large spoiler that even running wide open, the pack running 60% throttle will hang right on to them. And so I discussed this with Denny, and I believe he agrees, that if we were to take enough drag off the cars, so what are you gaining? All right, let's just go back and say, all right, what's the advantage you're gaining, right, by saving this fuel? It's, it's a second or two on pit road, right?
Yeah, it cycles you to the front of the group.
Yeah. So when you come down pit road, you're on pit road less.
Yeah, you
come down pit road 30th in a big pack, and you pull off pit road 1st, 5th, 10th, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a couple of seconds.
At most.
If I took enough, I need to know exactly what NASCAR, what I propose to NASCAR is find out how much drag to pull off the car so that if I'm in a pack of cars that are running 60, 70% throttle, and I mash the gas 100%, I drive away from them. I break the draft and pull away. And if I'm running wide open and I'm driving away from that pack, then I'm negating their advantage. And they're going to have to chase me down, because then if I get so far ahead, now I have the advantage. If I drive out to 4, 5, 6 seconds away from the pack, then I'll just, I'm going to be adding more fuel when I come to pit road, but that's how many seconds of fuel I'll be taking, right?
Yeah, theoretically, if you get that far in front, you're going to, so it should come out.
If you can, what would probably happen is you might get 4, 5, 6 cars pre-race that go, hey, man, when we get a chance, we're all going to link up, mash wide open. We're going to drive away from these guys. Remember when the Haas cars drove away from the field at Talladega by themselves?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that was what was going on. I'm just saying if you got 4 or 5 guys that teamed up and said, hey, let's jump off this strategy of saving and let's run wide open together, drive away from the field.
Yeah, they were fast.
Well, the car currently can't do that because it has so much drag. So there's no point for anyone to go wide open because they can't gain an advantage by driving away from the field because the car has too much drag. So therein lies the issue. And that I would love to hear from a crew chief to tell me why that wouldn't steer us back in the right direction. I'm not saying it fixes the problem, but why wouldn't taking the drag off the car fix it? I know that, if I'm running wide, so, okay, they might tell you this. They might say this. Okay, Dale, you're taking the drag off the car. Now I can pull away from this pack. But the pack just runs 80% throttle instead of 60. They're still saving gas. They'll run 80% to keep up with the 100%, right? The guy that's full throttle, the pack's just going to sit behind him and still save. Still beat him off pit road.
Yeah, you're still going
to have people.
Do it, yeah.
I've drove race cars with all types of packages at Daytona, different splitters, wings, spoilers, restrictor plates. And yes, if you're second, third, fourth, fifth, you're not wide open. We weren't saving gas. We were just trying not to hit the guy in front of us. But you're not always wide open. But we weren't thinking, hey, we're saving gas. We were just driving in a draft,
So what is that race like, though, in a pack?
Yeah, that's going to be the tough part. NASCAR is terrified, I believe, that we're all going to end up on the top in a big string like we were at, the end of 2016 or so. We were, Jimmy won the Daytona 500. I think I finished second. And we ran around the top of the racetrack for a majority of that race. It was relatively uneventful. They're worried, I think NASCAR is, that we mash a button, figuratively, we change some things, and they go from running 3 wide, and the casual fan thinks that's amazing. The fan that doesn't really know about the fuel savings thinks this is amazing. And they go from that to running single file from first to last. And then they're going to be, NASCAR will be so disappointed if that's what we end up with. And I agree, that's a risk you take. And I wouldn't be comfortable throwing something out there to see how it works without a real understanding of what we might get.
Allgaier took 100% of the blame. I'll take 20. I'll take 20 of it because it was an aggressive move. But it's coming the end stage. He's got to know I'm going to be I'm going to take every run I'm going to get at the end of a stage because stage points do matter to me. I had established very early I wanted to be in the top. It's why once I cleared the bottom lane, I moved right to the top. That's where I wanted to be to end the stage. And I was coming with such a massive run. I figured as well so I made up my mind probably, 100 yards or so before I actually went high. I said, I'm going to the outside no matter what, because I knew where he had run on the top before that. So I knew there would be enough space, but it just was not quite. It was enough space. I mean, obviously, if he didn't move up, I would have, I had outside position. But it probably happened so quickly that it caught him off guard. And so for me, I think it's my 20% is that he probably didn't have a whole lot of time to react or see that was coming, therefore was late to react to it.
I get stage points are more important this year, but on your end, why be so aggressive for someone that always says you just got to get to the end? You're in a good spot, keep pushing him and that run's going to keep going.
Yeah. That's what I would have done differently. Had I had to do it all over again, I certainly would have just, stayed on the 40. What I was saying though is that we were running 10 miles an hour faster than him at that time because of the push that I got. So if I go into the tri-oval and then check up for him, I mean, does the 12 just plow into the back of me? I don't know. Probably not, because he's got a good spotter. He's a good driver. So they can know and plan for that kind of stuff. But it would have caused a huge domino effect had I just checked up and not taken it. Or I could have just gone to the bottom and probably cleared him with the speed differential that I had. I probably just could have passed him, then gotten right back up to the top. But yeah, I agree that, again, doing it all over again, had I known what the result was going to be, I would have just stayed in line there for a few more laps.
Dirty Mo Media, Junior Motorsports, and I have a new partner this year, and we couldn't be more excited about this. A lot of y'all may have heard Arby's has come on board, and we're loving every second of it. And Arby's has entered the chat with a meal deal that raises the bar for value. Introducing the new meat and 3 box for $7.99 that's filled with Arby's quality favorites. Each meat and 3 box includes your choice of one sandwich: the classic roast beef that is hand sliced and slow roasted, or you can go with the crispy fish sandwich. All this comes with the melty mozzarella sticks, some crispy curly fries, everybody loves those, and a peach cobbler roll for dessert, guys. You got to try that dessert. It's really good. And you get a small drink. It's called Meat and 3, but you're actually getting 5 items, all for only $7.99. Nobody out there is giving you this much value for your money. This is a value meal that won't leave you hungry. You don't have to settle for less when you get more from Arby's. Available for a limited time at participating locations while supplies last. Prices may vary. Get your Meat and 3 box at an Arby's near you today.
All right, last one. The NASCAR approval system is broken. Spot on, spot off. Tommy.
What do you mean? Just get
What do you mean?
5
What do I
million
mean?
followers and a bunch of friends, and they'll let you in.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all you got to do. Case closed.
Case closed.
Yeah,
I mean that's what I was saying earlier. Like this is going to be very unpopular, and I'm sorry, but what are we doing? Are we trying to get the best race car drivers on the racetrack, or are we trying to get the biggest social media followings?
Yeah, let's just get. I'm gonna buy 5 million TikToks, and I'm gonna make a bunch of friends, and do some street stock racing, and next thing you know, I'm gonna be driving a top 5 truck.
I mean, there was 2 glaring examples of this weekend. One, Cletus, obviously, in the truck race. What has he done? Like for me, I get it. There's a system in place that you have to run certain races to get approved for other races. A system should not be based on participation. It needs to be based on results. This guy run 2 plate races last year, wrecked in both of them, wrecked half the field in one of them from trying to do a restart, talking about Cletus. And then we're just lucky the other night that he didn't wipe out half the truck field, because when he spun, he went down instead of up. And running, I mean, he was running in the top 10 when it happened. And I told Gio, I said, listen, this guy's never been in this position before. Arrow bottom, he's on the bottom of 3 wide. He's never been in this position before. He's going to wreck. And it was, I said, the next 5 laps probably. And it was 2 laps later, he just loses the nose and gets loose off of 4 and wrecks. And it was just dumb luck that he didn't wipe out half the field. And we're talking about safety. The guy's, I'm sure he's a great guy. He seems like a phenomenal person. He's got great car control. The videos that I watch, he drives anything in the world. He's not ready for what he's doing.
Yeah.
So you cannot approve these people to go out there. Natalie Decker, another one. How did she ever get approved? Now that she is approved, she's run 13 races and averaged a 29th place finish, piling into wrecks on top of that. Like, at what point do you look and say, all right, we made a mistake approving this person, now we need to take it back? Because you put these people in positions where this is not Cletus's fault, by the way.
Is there a system for that? Can you revoke your?
If there's not, there needs to be.
There's a committee.
But I want to make it clear that it's not Cletus's fault, but it's NASCAR's fault for letting him race.
It's the same thing we talked about with Catherine Legg. Like, it's the system, not. And if you had a problem with how she did and what she did,
I didn't
but
have
don't
any
have
problem with
I know, but don't have a problem with Cletus, then there's your example.
Yeah, but Catherine has way more race experience.
Totally.
Right?
But not necessarily in, what we're talking about.
It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, honestly, neither one of them should have been approved. The system, like I said, should not be about. Connor, what was your approval process like? I mean, you're the perfect one to ask.
Yeah, I mean, it took a while, right? I had to race in ARCA in a mile and a half before, but I mean, it would be really bad if NASCAR said no to Cletus. Like, he's gonna probably go out and be mad at NASCAR, but I don't know. It's a tough spot. I'm glad I'm not the ones making those decisions, because at the end of the day, you've got this guy with a ton of followers. That
he
you're
can
trying
bring a lot to the sport.
Yeah, he can bring a lot to the sport.
Yeah, but go through the system like
I
we
know,
all have, like
100%.
you have, like Luke has.
He should
like,
be racing
run
more.
modifieds, run late models, run.
Yeah, no doubt,
no
doubt.
Go through
He
the
should.
system, learn how to race, do all the things that we all have to do to get to the places.
Yeah.
Spend the money like we all had to get to certain spots.
It feels
right?
like a movie. Like,
you just
it feels
don't
like
show up. And
we're raising our voice.
It feels
because it pisses me off.
It feels like Impractical Jokers, where like there's somebody in a room somewhere being like, okay, now wreck half the field. Okay, now spin out. Like, it's like, what the is going on?
Your real name's Kenny Cox. Everybody knows you as Civ or Civil.
Yes, sir.
You had success, I would say, publicly as a Madden gamer years ago. And we're going to talk about your story a little bit about how it's just kind of shifted to where you are today. And one of the things that you did recently was you went public with your faith.
Yeah.
And I was following you already and just sort of skimming some ideas off of your information on trying to how to beat my buddies, and you have a dynamic personality on your content. You're very personable, easy to watch, good energy, all of those things. I'm not sure if you even have to try but it comes across really, really well.
Appreciate that.
How do you remain fresh and sustainable?
I think it comes back to the Lord. Like, I mean, like, what a blessing. Like, dude, what a freaking blessing it is to be able to do what I do for a living. Like, who am I to be like, oh, I don't know. Like, what a freaking blessing it is. And to take that for granted, it's like, it's crazy to me. Before I ever came to the Lord, it was very obvious to me. I'm like, I have no idea why I'm having some of the material successes I'm having. Like, this makes, from a logical standpoint, this makes no sense. Like, I was never the smartest in the room. I was never like this or that or whatever. And I'm like, we are objectively, materially killing it in this. And I don't know why.
Yeah.
And then being able to see like, okay, these like different material things that I'm having here for me can be used to like bless. Like, it's way bigger than Civil or way bigger than Kenny. From the standpoint, one, like, of like being able to provide like jobs for people, like that's, I think, one of the coolest things you could possibly do. But then being able, like, to give back to community, be able to buy my parents a house, be able to do other things like that's like, dude, like, that's freaking awesome. Like, how could it? What more do you want? That's how I think of it.
You were having all this success, and you felt empty, and you were like, you went out, partied, had tried different things to try to find ways to make life feel more full.
I dropped out of college, and like my goal when I was 18 was to take care of my parents, like figure out how do you do it. And then in December 2024, Christmas, my brother and I are able to come together and buy my parents' house. It's like, what more? Like, they are set financially, barring some disaster. And then afterwards, I'm like, that was cool. I'm like, dang, that actually is not like, because if you had told me before that, I'd be like, I could die the next day and like, we're good. Like, who cares? And I'm like, this is not it, dude. And then for the past 7 years or so,
what are you looking for? What do you mean?
There's just more to it.
You
like
felt you needed to feel.
It wasn't enough. It was never enough. Even the money things. Like, I would go from like making no money, where I was eating ramen every single day for months and months and months and months and months. I upgraded to ramen and raviolis for a few months too. It was sick. I'm like, then I'm eating like actual food, and I'm like, okay, do I get more? Do I get better food? Like, that's not making much of a difference on my happiness. Like, the money isn't.
Why were you not happy?
It wasn't fulfilling. Like, it felt like it was never enough, and there was always something I was trying to chase after. It became very obvious very quickly that no matter what next goal I hit, whether it was a dollar amount, whether it was like a subscriber count, whatever it was not going to be like, oh, Kenny's satisfied now. Yeah. And so I just went looking. I looked for like partying. I looked in like relationships. I looked in every which way that you could possibly look, trying to find like, okay, maybe I need to be around like other YouTubers. My friends just don't get it. It's like, no, that's not it. Maybe other entrepreneurs, like, no, that's not it. Like, whatever. And I remember one time I was kind of being like cocky to myself walking around, where I was like, man, like, Kenny, you've done some like cool things. Like, heck yeah. And I'm like, dude, for some reason, I remember thinking this so clearly, like, dude, like, you are about to crash, you idiot. And I'm like, I don't know what that means at all, but like, whatever. And I remember thinking, like, I should look into like another place called church. Like, I don't know what that really looks like. I called one of my good friends, who's my girlfriend now, actually, and I called her up, and she, I said, she went to church. I'd never done anything with it. And I was like, hey, do you know any churches in my area? Like, she's way up North Austin, now South Austin. And she's like, I don't really know any around your area, but like in the morning, I'm actually getting baptized. If you want to come like see that. And I was like, oh, like, sure, I'll just go there. And I went, that was the first time going to church, January 5th of 2025. And I remember like walking in, like shaking people's hands, and like they were like talking to me like I was like a human who like they cared about. I was like, this is weird. Like, okay, let's go. And I got to see the baptism, didn't really understand what that was at all, but I was like, cool, like people are cheering for her, so like, let's go. Was there for a couple of weeks. All the guys who come up to me and be like, hey man, like, so happy you're here. Like, by the way, this Christ thing, this Jesus thing changed my life. Jesus changed my, I'm like, what are you talking about, dude? Like, you're full, like, I don't know what you're full of, but like, it ain't. But enough people said it where I'm like, I'm not smarter than you, so there might be something here. Yeah, and so a couple weeks later, I decided to get a Bible. And one of the people at the church named Shane gave me a Bible, started with the Gospel of Matthew. And the end of it, I'm like, dude, if this is true, this is a really big deal.
Tell me about that. So I had a friend of mine talk about picking up the Bible and read the Bible, and how reading the Bible and the stories within it had this massive impact on them. And so I've not read the Bible thoroughly. I've not read an entire, I've not read an entire 3-4 pages, but So like, tell me, like, if I were to sit down and literally dive into the story, right? What would my experience be?
I think it'd become very, very clear of like what we're doing here on Earth. There's so much more. It's so much bigger than everything here. It's bigger than our jobs. It's bigger than even our immediate family. There is something bigger going out there. And there's a creator above who loves us more than we could possibly imagine. I'll say, I think one of the things that like I would ask you, Dale, is like what do you think about like Jesus, for example? Like you just had to say, what do you think about Jesus? What would you say?
That he died for our sins, and
so like that's a big deal.
Yeah.
So like if that is true, that's a massive deal,
Sure,
right? It's
yeah.
like objectively, because like if that's true, if he died for our sin, and the wages of sin, it reads in the Bible, is death, and he died for it to give it us forgiven and with the chance for eternal life in heaven. It's like, well, these are objectively big claims.
Yeah.
Like there's no way around it.
Right.
And so it's like, well, I want to research these claims and like see, are these like, is this just a load of crap? Because if it's a load of crap, I want nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
But if it's...
And so reading the Bible, you gain confidence in those claims.
Yes. I gained confidence in the claims that Jesus was the Son of God, that Jesus was God, is God, that his word is true, his word is reliable. And if that's the case, you know, like I think it's like a father figure, but like to the ultimate extreme where it's like, you know, you may not understand your father always when he's telling you things, but you can have confidence that he's telling you things in good faith and he has your best interest in mind, right? You don't see the big picture, but like you know that like, okay, like I'll listen to dad because he's saying this and whatever. Or maybe you might even be like, whatever, dad. But so like take that idea and like put it times infinity, because there's a Father in heaven who knows what we need, who knows our deepest and our smallest desires, and is telling us how to achieve these things. And it's just like by putting faith into him and him alone, we're able to come closer to him and come closer to those things.
Yeah. And so this has given you peace and
yeah, it's giving me fulfillment. It's giving me drive towards like something way bigger. It's like a lot of the thing I remember reading the Gospel of Matthew, and consistently throughout I'd be like these like it were like different like thought ideas that I would have, and like it's like articulated right here, like so well articulated here, so well articulated here, so well articulated here. I'm like, man, like what a freaking great, like it was so cool. And so many things that would like challenge me. And it's like, okay, I look at like the idea of like forgiveness. Like we can all agree that like it's good to forgive people. Like you should forgive people. At the same time, like someone really wrongs you, it's like really hard to forgive. But like Jesus says we should forgive even the people who have wronged us the most. And it's like objectively, even though it's hard for us emotionally to do that, I think we can all be like, yeah, we should. Like that's probably a better way to live life than like not forgiving at all. It has been an incredible like life change for me.
all right, so let's address the elephant in the room.
I wanted to keep it going for a little longer.
What? The elephant in the room?
Daytona 500.
Listen.
Explain yourself, Amy.
I was in a weakened state. You had me trapped in a bus with the kids, and I have a short shelf life. I have a short shelf life in environments like that.
I was going to say I was laying back next to my handsome husband in bed, and I was in a weakened state.
Well, you know,
not trapped in a camper with him.
I'm a fluffer. I'm trying to make you smile and make you happy. And you laid down and you were talking about the race. I was like, you just should run it yourself next year. Yeah. And he looks at me like, what the hell? Yeah. Who has abducted my wife and put this chick here? I mean, I was kind of serious, but listen, it is up to you. Yeah. It's always up to you.
It's just so much work.
Oh my God. It's so much work.
You have no clue.
I don't. You're right. I don't.
So,
but listen, I feel like it would be worth the extra whatever.
It ain't. Like, all right, look, if I could put a suit on and walk out and climb in the car and start it up and drive it off and race like hell yes. But you got sim, you got photo shoots, you got to take picture, you know, you got to get fitted in the suit and do all. It's just there's months of lead up to, and there'll be so many, you know, people that are partners and you'll be a lot of media. There'll be just a bunch of asks.
And you can't just go race.
You'll feel bad saying, no, I don't want to do all that.
Why do you have to feel bad?
Because I feel bad. It's a privilege to be able to do it.
Yeah.
And you feel like it's your job and your obligation to say yes to all of the things that allow it to happen, right?
Well, this is part of the reason you've always felt so much pressure is because you feel that way.
Yeah.
Instead of just enjoying the racing and
All right.
separating those things for yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like I just know that if I said, yeah, I'll do that, it will turn into just a circus. And standing out there on the grid, getting ready to get in the car, would just be a circus.
I mean, I don't feel like that's a reason to say no. I mean, the other reasons
I don't enjoy
make
that.
more sense.
We went to the Daytona 500. We stood out on the grid.
Yeah.
And it's not a circus in my current role. And I like watching the circus, not being the.
You don't want to be a monkey in the circus.
Yeah. So I don't know. I do love driving. I do watch them go around the track and go, man, I'd love to be out there and feeling that and doing that. I would love that. But
what if they created okay.
So the other part is
I got that big fat hand.
I have never raced the next gen.
Oh, that's true.
I've never been in that car. I don't know where this is. It is racing at the cup level, and I will always feel this way. It is an elite level. You have to be
sharp,
freaking badass to be there and know where every square inch of that car is as you're traveling around the track.
Yeah.
I don't know where the corners are. I don't know.
You don't know the car.
That when we get into the very finite moments of adjustment and driving and decision making and instant, like bam, bam, bam. I don't know that I don't think you can just jump in and all that comes right back.
Really?
I think you need to be doing it every week.
Okay.
To be able to be as sharp as you're going to want to be. And so if I go out there and those guys are moving, reacting quicker because their minds are where my mind used to be, and they're quicker reacting, they're sharper, I'm going to notice that. And I'm going to go, I don't want to do this unless I can be as good as I remember being.
I understand.
Right?
Yeah.
And so while it's fun and I do enjoy it, I only want to do it if I feel like I am absolutely 100% as good as I can possibly be. And
well, how are you going to know? How do you know?
I only can be that good if I'm doing it every single week. I think any cup guy, like even Blaney, a friend of ours, would come in here and say, hey, man, yeah.
Are you sure?
You're going to have your hands full.
Yeah.
But I feel like I would really be over my head.
I hear you.
And as much as it would be fun, it would be fun, but I would end it no matter what the result would be going, man, I realize I'm not there anymore,
So are you worried a little bit too, putting all that aside, like how it would affect your ego?
Not so much.
I don't mean that in a negative way, but like.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I wouldn't say
hurt
ego.
Your feelings.
I wouldn't say ego, but yeah, it might drive home the truth that, you're 51. You're not going to be as sharp because you don't do it every week. It's like golf. Like if you want to be great at golf and truly doing a great job hitting the ball and putting it where you're supposed to do it,
it takes a lot of work.
Need to do it all the time. You can't just. And another example, and I'll end here. Casey Kane came into the studio probably 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And he was back and forth about driving his dirt cars, and I'm like, why don't you drive them? Why don't you drive them more? And he goes, man, I get mad because I do it every now and then, and I get my ass kicked, and I can only do it well if I'm doing it every week, and I can't do it every week, and so it's frustrating. I want to do it; it's fun, but I can't be as good as I want because I can't do it all the time. And I'm like, yep,
yeah, he gets
totally
it.
Understand that.
Yeah.
So,
all right, well, we settled it.
We settled it.
Thank you for.
But listen.
Bringing
You know
that
what?
up. I was taken aback when I saw that come up on my phone yesterday. I was like, holy sh! I can't believe you said that.
I didn't want him to come out and acknowledge. I wanted you to sit there for a little longer.
I thought it was just going to be in the camper, and that was that. We're going to leave it there.
Well, I said that selfishly, maybe, because one of the things that bothered me when I retired was people were blaming Amy. And so I saw people on social media, and I know you're not supposed to.
I mean, easy target. That's like where everybody.
They were
goes,
like,
right?
I bet Amy told him to quit. It's Amy. It's her. She told him to stop. Amy told him not to do it anymore. And that's not accurate at all. Mm-mm. And so when you said that the other night, I was like, man, people would not believe that she just said that. They wouldn't believe your point of view. And so I shared that. I shared that, with everybody. And I made the choice to stop. And Amy supported my choice, but she wasn't sitting there going, man, you need to stop.
No, I was very careful with what I said to you. Of course, I wanted you to be healthy and safe and all the things, but also you have to be happy. Yeah. And your choice has to be yours, or because you have to live with it.
Yeah. All right. That was another episode of the Dirty 30 presented by Arby's new Meat and 3 Bucks. Get more meal for your money at Arby's. We have the meats.